Today I'm going to reveal to you the unknown habits that have fully optimized my body composition and my health, keeping my body fat percentage well under 10% year-round, as low as 5%, and my skeletal muscle mass over 100 pounds year after year. Your skeletal muscle mass is the muscle that sits outside the bone, so it's just the muscle, not adding the bones or your organs. And my lean mass, when we add all that together, is around 170 pounds. So it makes up the majority of my body weight, which falls anywhere between 185 and 195. So in case you just think I'm a guy in a polo, here's a picture of me at the gym. So I definitely have a lot in the way of expertise on how I've been able to achieve a physique like this with my body composition, as well as fully optimal health as a result. So I'm going to give you all my unknown habits and secrets I've been able to gather over 5+ years being in the health and fitness space. And it's literally just going to be me, you, this camera, and this document where I put this together just to ensure that we cover everything here about these habits. So you can plug these same actionable tips into your routine so you can start seeing results. And a few of these things are outside of the realm of dieting and exercise as well, which makes this even more interesting. And with those specifically, I'll cover why they're in there and why they're actually going to help you see more in the way of results if you have that solid foundation with your nutrition plan and your workout plan as well. So in case you don't know me, my name is Bobby O'Brien. I've helped dozens of career-driven professionals, both men and women, lose body fat and fully optimize their health. And you can check out all the links down below in the video description, going over their amazing transformations. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first is going to be cold immersion and sauna use, right? This is something that I really prioritize, right? Constantly immersing myself in the cold, whether it be a cold pool, cryotherapy, cold plunge, or even just a 5-minute or 3-minute cold shower. Any sort of cold immersion is going to be good for you. You activate thermogenesis, which is the generation of heat, so you can actually prime yourself to be in a better position to activate what's called your brown fat tissue, which actually warms you up. And it makes it easier for you to burn what's called the bad fat, known as the white fat that sits outside of your skin, which is the stuff you want to burn, obviously, right? So you put yourself in a prime position to do that when immersing yourself in the cold. And there's many other brain and psychological benefits too. You also activate what's called your anti-stress gene, so it's great for handling any sort of stress or oxidative stress within the body. And you also activate what's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which can actually help you induce what's called neuroplasticity, which helps you create new neural connections in your brain. So essentially, it actually makes you a little bit more intelligent and a little bit sharper. And you get that same benefit in the sauna as well. And you also activate what's called heat shock proteins within the sauna, so it really helps you boost your muscular recovery. If you boost your recovery, if you've basically broken down your muscles with weight training or whatever it may be, you're fast tracking your ability to recover, rejuvenate those muscles, and allow them to grow so you can boost your metabolic rate and burn more in the way of body fat. And of course, optimize your body composition as a result with having more of that muscle mass, since your recovery is going to be more on point if you're exposing yourself to any sort of heat exposure or something like the sauna. Any sort of extreme heat or extreme cold is not only going to be good for you physiologically and psychologically for your brain, but it's also going to help you with recovery as long as you time it the right way. With cold immersion though, without going down a huge physiological rabbit hole with IGF-1 or any of these other different hormones, you don't want to do a cold shower or a cold plunge right after working out, because you could basically inhibit the muscular building process, or the process that actually allows you to go through, muscle building or muscular rejuvenation once they're broken down. So you want to space that out a little bit if it's possible, but getting any sort of cold exposure or any sort of extreme heat exposure is going to be beneficial for you. And mainly for a recovery standpoint, if we're looking at optimizing our ability to grow more muscle and boost our metabolic rate, but also for the psychological benefit too. And what you'll notice with some of these points that we hit here that are outside the realm of dieting and exercise, just like cold immersion or sauna use, is that you get a very prominent, psychological benefit from some of these things. And you need that, especially if you're someone that's super busy, you got a career that's taking up a lot of your time and is super stressful. You want to go into your nutrition plan or your workout routine with full mental clarity, low stress, feeling good, and actually excited to do it. Because even if it is really sustainable, if you're going into that plan with the wrong mindset and with low energy and a lot of stress, it's going to be more difficult to follow even if it is sustainable. So that's why doing some of these little things outside of your nutrition plan or outside of your workout plan make a huge difference, and it certainly helped me as well. So second is sunlight exposure, right? The vitamin D that you get from the sun is much different than the vitamin D that you may get from your diet. Both are certainly essential and beneficial, but getting some amount of sun exposure, especially in the morning, so you can optimize your circadian rhythm and make it easier for your body to wind down at night, is going to be great not only for that, but also for regulating certain hormones, mainly testosterone. There is a correlation with additional sunlight exposure, right? And an increase in testosterone. So it's going to be great for any of you that know that your testosterone function or your levels of testosterone are on the decline and not moving in the right direction. Getting additional sunlight, even just for 5 minutes in the morning, is going to go a long way in moving those testosterone levels and the function of your testosterone in the right direction. Now, the next one is sleep. You want to be getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep at the bare minimum 8 hours. Because if you're getting just 5-6 hours of sleep per night, you're putting yourself in a position to not hit all 4 stages of your sleep cycle and not get the deep non-REM sleep that you especially need for critical hormonal regulation and also for REM sleep as well, where you're actually dreaming. You need each stage of sleep to ensure that your body is functioning in the right way and you're keeping your stress levels low, you're regulating your hormones, and of course, actually going into that diet and exercise routine with that solid foundation. Because if you don't have it, you can go 3 days without sleeping and then you're instantly running into problems, right? Psychologically, mentally, hormonally, and from so many different perspectives of health. Now, if you go 3 days without eating, you'll still be okay, but you're just hungry, right? And then of course, anybody can go 3 days without exercising. But I'm saying this to show you that sleep is 100% essential and non-negotiable. That's why you need to put yourself in a position where you're in bed for at least 8 hours. You can hit all 4 stages of sleep. You get both non-REM sleep where you're not dreaming and REM sleep where you are dreaming. So you can ensure that you're getting the benefits of each stage and you're putting yourself in a prime position to lower your stress levels, regulate your hormones, and get more mental clarity when you get up in the morning. So once again, you can go into your diet or your exercise routine with the right energy and with that solid foundation, because you really can have a great diet and an awesome exercise routine. But if you're not recovering, if you're not getting enough sleep to let your muscles grow and recover and to let your hormones regulate themselves in the right way to ensure that you are going to be in a prime position to lose body fat, it won't happen if you're sleeping for 4 hours, 5 hours every single night, the quantity is really low, or if the quality is really bad as well. Now, making the right shifts and adjustments to your diet and your exercise routine, getting more active, getting more animal foods in your diet, keeping insulin low with higher fat, higher protein animal foods, and eating naturally sourced carbs as well is definitely going to help improve your sleep quality. But it all starts with your sleep. If you don't have sleep, you don't have anything. The quantity needs to be on point. You need to be sleeping at least 8 to almost 9 hours per night. And the quality also has to be on point as well. And you can do that by doing all these things that we're talking about in this video and by optimizing your diet and your exercise routine. And if you want to start off by optimizing your diet, I'll go ahead and drop a video down below where you'll basically have a full tutorial on how to tailor your diet to your current state of metabolic health so you can see the most in the way of results. Now, the next one is daily walking. I get anywhere between 8,000 to 12,000 steps per day sometimes, depending on the day, right? If I'm super busy and back-to-back with meetings, I'm probably not going to get 12,000 steps in one day, but I am at least stacking the odds in my favor to where if I don't have a meeting and I can walk around the phone, or if I have a break in between meetings or between some sort of work, I am moving. I take advantage of that time so I can constantly ensure that my basal metabolic rate is going to be on point. I'm putting myself in a prime position to burn more in the way of fuel and keep my body active, because it also helps with digestion. You're putting yourself in a prime position to burn more in the way of fuel when you are getting more steps in and you're walking around, right? And this is especially important for any of you that spend long hours of time at your desk. You want to get an opportunity here and there to leave your desk if you can, if you have a phone call, or if you know that you have no obligation to be here at the desk, you want to get up, get some steps in. You don't have to track it meticulously, but at least move around and set a goal to get some steps in at least twice or 3 times a day, at least 2 or 3 periods where you're walking for at least 5 minutes. That is going to go a long way. And it's also great for you psychologically as well. If you need to take a break, what do you usually do to break that stress cycle? You go on a walk, you get involved in nature, and you just exit from the current working space that you're in and just move around. Now, the next one here is eating more in the way of omega-3s. Omega-3s are polyunsaturated fats that are great for reducing inflammation and boosting your brain health. Now, these are also great for losing more in the way of body fat, right? Because you don't get any sort of response from insulin whenever you eat fat, right? And this is a unique type of fat in which there are all these additional benefits. And especially from a psychological perspective, if we want to really keep our brain on point, what's been shown here in research recently is that omega-3s versus antidepressants, they're literally equally as effective in treating depression. So if any of you are just dealing with stress or anxiety, even if you're not dealing with depression, right? This is going to put you in a prime position to optimize your brain health and once again, go into your plan with the right mindset and with the right energy and with that sharp mentality where you feel that immense sense of mental clarity, right? So whether you're someone that's dealing with anxiety or depression or not, it's really going to be important for you to get in more of these omega-3s because they are a very beneficial fat, not just for stacking the odds in your favor to lose your own body fat, but to reduce your inflammation levels and to also boost your brain health and many other different benefits that also come along with omega-3 consumption. Now, the 5 best fish that you can go with for getting more in the way of omega-3s is going to be in the abbreviation that I like to call SMASH that I got from Thomas DeLauer, right? So it goes sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. These are going to be the top 5 fish that have the most in the way of omega-3s, the most in the way of nutrients, and also the lowest amount of contaminants like mercury, lead, and other polychlorinated biphenyls that are commonly found in different oceans, right? So you want to ensure that you keep your mercury levels low because it can certainly be inflammatory, as well as any other heavy metals because it can cause problems in the human body, right? So you want to go with the fish that are in the lowest tier, right, of contaminants, usually the fish that are at the bottom of the food chain, like the ones I mentioned. Those fish are also going to be, once again, very high in omega-3s and very high in nutrients like vitamin D and other B vitamins. So definitely be sure to get in some amount of omega-3s, or even if you have to take it as a supplement, it is going to be really good for reducing your inflammation, reducing your stress, boosting your brain health, and once again, putting you in a prime position to see more in the way of results. And whenever I was looking to optimize my own sleep and just stack the odds in my favor to see more in the way of results on my own health journey 5 years ago when I was dealing with some insomnia, that was one of the first things I did as well. And it made a massive difference on my psychological performance, on my sleep, and on my routine as a whole. Now, once again, the same theme remains true here. It's not just about the diet that you're following or the exercise routine, but everything that you do outside of it to make it even better. Now, the next one is getting some sort of cardio activity in, right? And I do teach many people, many individuals, both men and women that are career driven, how they can see results without doing a second of cardio. It is possible, right? But we want to get to the point where we include at least just 15 minutes of it, right? Or even just once or twice per week, because it does go a long way in combination with a weight training routine. Now, if you do this in a fasted state, you can see even more in the way of fat loss benefits as well. But when doing cardio along with weight training, especially when they're separate, that has been shown to be the most effective way to see the most in the way of results with your body composition, right? Very simple. Getting the best of both worlds, weight training plus cardio. But you should still definitely make weight training the main component of your routine if your number one priority is to lose body fat and then gain muscle over the top of that foundation that you build for your body as well once that body fat is lost and gone. Now, there's plenty of other benefits as well, once again from a psychological perspective to get that mental clarity going into your diet or your exercise routine, but you also get a big boost in cardiovascular function by doing cardio, and you also boost your endurance in the gym. So it also improves your performance with your weight training sessions and everything as a whole. So doing cardio and weight training together synergistically is definitely going to be much better than neglecting one or the other. But still, if you're going to pick one as the main component, you want to go with weight training if your main goal is to lose body fat. You build muscle, you boost your metabolism. That way you can burn more in the way of fat. You can't get that same benefit with making cardio the main component because you're not breaking down your muscle fibers, right, when you're running on the treadmill. But you can do that when you're doing bicep curls, bent over rows, leg curls, squats, and different resistance training exercises. Now, to keep things creative, I like to go with different activities like jiu-jitsu, boxing, running in the park, or any other cardiovascular, cardio-oriented routine that allows me to do something different besides just running aimlessly on the treadmill. We all get tired of that. So if you have to do something that's a little bit different in order for you to get that big rise in your heart rate or get some steady state cardio in and just get all the benefits that come from cardio, if you have to do a separate activity in order to do that, that's way better than doing nothing. Now, the last one here is another mindset one. Once again, just like the rest of this video, you want to ensure that you're going into your plan with the right mindset. If your mindset and energy is off, the plan's going to be off too, even if it is sustainable. And the final tip, the unknown secret and habit that I have and have used for my own routine is doing cognitive behavioral therapy. I guess this is 2 in 1. And not believing every stupid thing that I think. And those two things definitely work together synergistically, right? I made a whole 6-step process, by the way, on how you can kill these what's called automatic negative thoughts that comes into your mind. I'll go ahead and link that down below in case you want the full step-by-step breakdown. But basically what I do is I categorize where, these automatic negative thoughts come from a certain, past experience or past event, past trauma, and then I identify what that type is, that automatic negative thought. Is it a blaming thought, fortune-telling thought? What type of negative thought is it? And then I break it down with a step-by-step process if I feel like it has some level of validity, right? Is it true? Is it true with 100% certainty? How do I feel when I believe this thought? How would I feel if I didn't have this thought? And then the most powerful question is to take that original thought and flip it to the opposite and then ask if there's any evidence if that new thought is true. And I'm telling you, you can literally write down pages and pages of notes of ammunition to kill that original automatic negative thought and create this new automatic positive thought and this new perspective on the situation that you're dealing with that is making you feel negative in some sort of way. Anxious, hopeless, frustrated, angry, whatever it is. This sequence will literally kill that if this thought is killing your progress. And if anything, after working with so many different career-driven professionals, both men and women, the majority of the time, if there is a weight loss and a fat loss problem, there usually is a mindset problem too, right? And there's of course times where we don't have the proper guidance, we don't have the right strategy, there's so much misinformation online, right? We just don't know what to do. We are faced with those issues, but a lot of the time we're faced with issues that are completely internal and psychological, and we're just getting in our own way. And the moment we remove ourselves from our own path to our goals that we want to get to, it sounds super simple, but it makes it a lot easier to get there. And that's certainly something that I had to do for myself, especially pertaining to health and fitness, right? We always are going to have self-sabotaging thoughts, self-doubt, or any other negativity, some sort of automatic negative thought, because we have this negativity bias in our brain. It's ingrained in our evolution to be somewhat negative, right? Our ancestors just a few centuries ago were having to hunt for food. We don't have to hunt for food anymore, right? We don't have to go weeks without eating. We can just go right to a fast food restaurant, go to a restaurant, pick up some groceries or whatever it is, right? We don't have a lion that's chasing us. So we have to make this shift here in our mindset to be a little bit more rational, not just positive, but to think more accurately about things, especially in respect to our fat loss journey, because it can be a hard journey at times. It's not always going to be easy. There's going to be times where things just don't work out. You don't hit your goal in the time frame that you wanted to hit it on. You get discouraged. You feel like you sometimes can't do it at all. And there's times where you just get flooded with negativity and just the wrong thought patterns that bog you down. The next thing you know, you're not going to the gym for a month or whatever it actually ends up turning into. Your thoughts influence your beliefs influence your actions, and your actions influence your results. And it all starts with your thoughts. If your thoughts are just ultra negative and there's a bunch of self-sabotaging thoughts, that's going to affect not only your beliefs, but then your actions, right? You may end up not going to the gym for a month, or you end up in a position where you just completely fall off your diet and you don't even want to go back in because of your own mindset. And then you end up getting terrible, if not no results, or you end up taking steps backwards. So that's why this stuff is so important, because once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record throughout this video, but this cannot be nailed down any further, right? I can't touch on this enough. If you are going into your diet or your exercise routine with the wrong mindset and with the wrong thought patterns, if your mindset is off, the plan is going to be off too. So I don't care if you have the best coach in the world that's holding your hand every step of the way, 7 days a week, checking in on you over and over and over again. If you don't have your own mindset dialed in, I don't care how good your diet or your exercise routine is, if you are not going into this plan with the right mindset, it is not going to work. Even if that plan has been proven time and time again to work and it's fully sustainable, it's going to be really difficult to stick to that strategy or that plan if you're going into it with the wrong mindset and the wrong thought patterns. So if you have automatic negative thoughts that you're dealing with right now, or your mindset is not on point, you definitely need to fix that first before you address anything else that is outside of your own mind. And then once you address that, then you can start to address everything else. Literally every single one of these things that I've gone over so far is a huge component of my routine as a whole. And it still really does not take me that much time to do these things, right? Sleeping, of course, everybody has to sleep. Getting 5 minutes of sun, getting a little bit of cold exposure, sauna exposure here and there on a weekly basis. These things don't take that much time, but when you make that extra effort to ensure that you are stacking the odds in your favor to optimize both your body and your health, the results are going to be absolutely astounding, especially when you optimize your brain and your mindset going into the plan that you're looking to see results from. So hope you found value in this video and it was helpful. If it was, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And feel free to let me know down in the comment section below if there's any other topic that you would like me to cover in the future. Now, if you feel like you need some help with your diet or your exercise routine and you need the proper guidance to optimize your body and your health again, lose some body fat and build muscle so you can get back to where you need to be, go ahead and message me the word optimize on my Instagram or my Facebook down below in the video description, and I'll see if I can help you. But other than that, that's pretty much it, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.